I've got a story for you. Not mine, but my parents. It's too wild not to share, and well, it's a long one. When my parents tell it, it easily takes 2 hours. They remember every detail like it happened yesterday. This story is 100% real. If you don't believe it, feel free to scroll on. Back in the 80s, my parents had just gotten married, graduated college, and had my older brother. They managed to buy a small house in Mequon, an upscale suburb north of Milwaukee. It was the smallest house on the block, but somehow within their budget, even as a fresh med school grad with a kid. They put in an offer that was slightly under asking. 2 other couples offered over asking, but the elderly man selling the house turned them down. He insisted my parents should have it, saying he and his late wife would have agreed it was the right choice. My parents were thrilled. They settled in, made friends in the neighborhood, and life felt good. For a while. Until things started to get weird. The first sign came from the basement. My dad was rarely home, working long hours to start his medical practice, so my mom was alone with my brother most days. One afternoon, while heading back upstairs after doing laundry, she noticed a bright red light turn on at the bottom of the stairs. It wasn't a normal light. It looked like a caged emergency light, like something you'd see in a fallout shelter, and the switch for it had supposedly been removed long ago. Confused, she turned back to investigate, and it shut off. The next day, same thing. She walks upstairs, the light turns on. She goes back down. It turns off. This time she waits a moment at the bottom of the stairs before walking up again. As she hits the landing, it turns back on. She runs down to catch it in action, and before she can reach the bottom, the light starts flashing like a strobe light. She grabbed my brother and noped out of the house immediately. It never happened again. The light never turned on for my dad. Just that one day, just for her. After the light incident, my mom was freaked. Understandably, she avoided the basement unless my dad was home. But something else had started before the light, and it only got worse after knocking. At first it was random, sparse. They assumed it was the house settling. But one night, while lying in bed talking about bills and the day, they started hearing it again, louder and more frequent. It began under their bed, then moved to the walls, then the ceiling. Knock, knock, knock. Every 30 seconds, no clear pattern. So they got up and followed the sound from room to room, just trying to find the source. But every time they thought they'd located it, it would jump somewhere else. Eventually, the knocking led them to the foyer closet, loud and fast. My dad had a bat. My mom had a fireplace poker. He stepped forward, hand on the doorknob. And a voice said, "Knock, knock." He flung the doors open. Nothing. Silence. The knocking stopped. Neither of them slept that night. By now, my mom was on edge constantly, and, well, pregnant again. My dad, the skeptic and science-minded doctor, was beginning to realize something was seriously wrong. He believed her. So, a few weeks later, they were asleep one night when, all of a sudden, they were jolted awake by this loud thud. Their very first instinct was to check on my brother. They rushed into his room and, well, they found him lying right in the middle of the floor, perfectly covered by his blanket, tucked in just like he was in bed, but at least 5 feet away from it. They picked him up and, asked what happened. He pointed over to the closet and said, "It pushed me. The fox pushed me." My dad tore through the closet looking for an animal. Nothing. But the name stuck. The man who had sold them the house, well, his last name was Fox. That was the breaking point. My mom just refused to stay in the house any longer, especially with another baby on the way. My dad, determined to protect his family, decided to confront it. Late one night, he sat alone in the living room and spoke aloud to the house. I don't know if you're real, I don't know if you're Mrs. Fox, but I do know this. You need to stop. We are a peaceful, loving family. Your husband chose us for a reason. If you are Mrs. Fox, then know this, he would be ashamed of you. We're here to raise our children just like you once did. You can stay, but you cannot hurt us anymore. My wife is pregnant. You've scared our son. If this continues, I will find someone who can make it stop. Please let us live in peace. Good night. After that, well, nothing ever happened again. No lights, no knocking, no more foxes. But there was one final twist. A few days after their anniversary that June, my mom moved a wooden cabinet, one she'd bought at a neighborhood garage sale shortly after they moved in. Tucked deep inside, behind a drawer, she found a card, an anniversary card. It read, "Happy anniversary blank and blank. Fox." They had never seen that card before, had never opened the drawer in that cabinet that deep. They never saw the old man again after buying the house. They lost the card over the years, through several moves, but the cabinet, it still sits in our family cabin to this day. For more interesting stories, please follow, like, share, and subscribe.